The SkyPM Report Manager has been created to offer information for your decision-making process on board. The Report Manager features automated reporting that frees up time for you to perform more important tasks. This video tutorial will guide you through the necessary steps in order to successfully record log entries. In order to use the logs without restrictions, some settings have to be configured first. If one or more of the following requires additional configuration, please refer to the SkyPM manual or contact SkySales. Bunkering event settings, customized log settings, fuel switchover report settings, maintenance log settings, Meteo pilot settings. It is important to fill out the log entries as soon as possible and with the correct date and time. Various reports use data from log entries. If the log entry is out of date, data will not get incorporated into the reports. As you can see, SkyPM offers three kinds of logs: nautical logs, bunker management logs, and cargo management logs. Please note that the scope of available logs may differ from customer to customer. Not every log may be needed aboard your ship or displayed in the Report Manager. For questions regarding the configuration of the interface, please contact SkySales service. The procedure for filling out log entries is very similar for most log types. We will use the anchor log as an example for a standard log entry. First, click on Anchor Log. You will see previous anchor log entries in the overview and two buttons in the lower left and right corner of the screen. The New Entry button is on the lower right. New log entries can be filled out by clicking on the Enter button. A new dialog will appear which differs from log type to log type. As a general rule, fields marked in bold script are mandatory. You cannot save your log entries without these fields being filled out. The Strikeout button is on the lower left. Faulty log entries can only be deleted with the Strikeout button. Click on New Entry to enter a new anchor log. A new dialog opens. Enter the port name by typing directly into the field or by selecting a previously visited port from the drop-down list. If this is the first voyage, no entries are available from the drop-down list. Enter the date and time for arrived and sailed. You can either click in the drop-down button and select a date or type directly into the field. Enter the time in the same manner. Enter comments for the anchor event in the Remarks field. When all entries have been made, check and make sure the data is correct. When everything is in order, save the log entry with the Save button. Closing the log in any other way will result in the loss of the entered data. You have now successfully completed an anchor log entry. The new entry will appear in the overview. Data in the log entry cannot be changed after saving. Should you discover incorrect data in a log entry, you have to strike out the log entry and create it anew. Click on a log entry to select it. The currently selected log entry is marked yellow. Then, click on Strike Out in the lower left corner to delete the log entry. Confirm your decision in the dialog with OK if you really want to strike out the log entry. Otherwise, abort with Cancel. Stricken out entries will be shown with a line through the entry. They will remain visible as stricken out in the log entry list. However, they will not be transmitted with any report. You have learned the basics on how to create and delete a log entry in SkyPM with the example of an anchor log. Most of the logs function in the same way. The following chart gives an overview on the different logs. As you can see in the chart, most of the logs follow the standard pattern of an anchor log, with a new entry button and the option to delete entries with a strikeout button. The canal log is slightly different. Instead of a new entry button, there is a start event button where the start of a canal passage can be recorded. As soon as the start of a canal event has been recorded in the logs, the button will change to stop event. Both entries start event and stop event are necessary for a complete canal log. The customized log differs also slightly. For more information on the customized log, please consult the manual. The fuel switchover report is different from a standard log entry. For more information on the fuel switchover report, please see the Quick Guide Fuel Switchover report or consult the manual. The cargo log differs slightly from the standard log entry. Instead of a new entry button, it has a load and a discharge button. The following logs function like the anchor log, only the entered data differs. Berth log, maintenance log, pilot log, time loss event, trim log, weather log, bunkering event log, and the bunker log all have the same pattern. We will take a quick look at the canal log entry and the cargo log entry and see how they are filled out. Click on Canal Log to open an overview. Instead of the new entry, there is a Start Event button in the lower right corner. Click on Start Event to open the dialog. Fill out the Start Canal Event dialog and save the entries with Save, or discard them with Cancel. When the Start Canal Event dialog has been filled out and saved, the new entry will appear in the overview. The Start Event button in the lower right corner of the screen will change to Stop Event. Click on Stop Event to record the end of the canal passage. The Stop Canal Event dialog is very similar to the Start Canal Event dialog. Remarks from the Start Canal Event dialog are shown here as well. The remarks from the Start Event cannot be changed in this dialog, but additional remarks for the End Canal event can be entered. Fill out the Stop Canal Event dialog and save with Save or discard the entries with Cancel. Deleting entries via strikeout functions in the same way as in a standard log entry. Use the strikeout button in the lower left corner. The fuel switchover report differs from a standard lock. For details, please see the separate Quick Guide Fuel Switchover report. It offers a detailed instruction in how to conduct the fuel switchover report. The cargo lock is very similar to a standard lock like the ankle lock. Instead of a new entry button in the lower right corner, there are two buttons. The load button opens the cargo loading lock entry. The discharge button opens the cargo discharging lock entry. Click on Load to open a new cargo loading lock entry. The both entries for cargo type and quantity are mandatory. Saving the dialog without filling them out is not possible. Fill out the data fields and save the entry with Save. You have now successfully created a cargo log. This concludes the video tutorial. Please feel free to rewatch the video at your convenience. To take a closer look at certain parts of the video or to take notes, you may press pause at any time during the video. You have learned to fill out different kinds of logs in SkyPM Report Manager. You can create a new log entry with the New Entry button or delete a log entry with the Strike Out button. You know that the timely conduction of log entries is essential for correct entries in reports, and that log entries which are recorded too late are not included in the respective report. SkySails has also created a series of quick guides and other video tutorials for the Report Manager on various topics. You will also find helpful information in the Report Manager manual.